Today we'll be making homemade blueberry pie. We'll be making our crust from scratch. Here are the ingredients. To start on our crust, we'll cut the butter into cubes and let sit for a couple minutes to take the chill off. In a large bowl, we'll whisk together the flour, salt, and sugar. Now we'll work the butter into the flour with our hands. After sprinkling the cubes of butter over the flour, use your hands to squish the flour and butter together with your fingers. Work the butter into the dough until a coarse meal appears with some flattened chunks of butter. Keep swishing until the dough looks a little more yellow. Now we'll add our sour cream. Use a fork to incorporate it fully into the mixture. Use your hands to gather the pastry dough into a large ball and then use a knife to cut the ball in half, forming 2 discs. Sprinkle your discs all over with a little flour and then wrap them tightly with plastic wrap or plastic bags if you've run out. Once you wrap the dough disc in plastic wrap, you can massage the dough's edges with your hands to seal off any cracks. You want to chill in the refrigerator for an hour or until the next day. After time has passed with the dough in the refrigerator, remove one of the dough discs from the fridge and let it sit out for a few minutes. Then we'll roll it out. If it feels stiff, give it a couple more minutes. Make sure your flat surface has flour on it and roll out the dough. If the bottom of it is sticking, lift it up and place some flour underneath. You want to roll it out to about 12 to 14 inches wide and an even thickness. Now we'll place our rolled out dough into a 9-inch pie pan. I've rolled my dough out a little bit thin, so it's a little hard to get into the pan. Make sure you leave your dough thicker so you don't have this issue. Once I put it in, I will patch any of the little holes that I find with leftover dough. Ideally, there won't be these types of holes, but we do the best we can. Trim the edges about a 1/2 inch over the edge of the pan and then place it into the refrigerator to chill while we make our blueberry filling. Here are the ingredients we'll be using for a blueberry filling. Place the blueberries, sugar, flour, cinnamon, lemon zest, and lemon juice in a large bowl. Gently stir them so that all of the blueberries are coated with some of the sugar and flour evenly. Remove your crust from the refrigerator and put all the sugar-coated berries into the bottom crust. I think creating a lattice crust on the top looks fancy, and it's actually pretty easy. You can start by rolling out your second dough disc and then cutting it into strips. You can decide how thick or thin you want them. I like them about 1 inch or so wide. We'll start by arranging about half of the strips over the filled pie in parallel lines. You can decide how far apart you want them. Now you'll fold up every other strip to about the midline of the pie. Lay a strip of pie dough perpendicular to the others, and then fold the strips back down. And then you'll start with folding the other ones up and laying another perpendicular strip and folding the pie dough back down. You'll keep going until the pie is covered with perpendicular lines. Trim away any long pieces that may be hanging over the edge of the pie. Now you want to fold or roll the excess dough. Give it a little press or a pinch so it sticks together to seal the lattice crust to the actual edge of the crust. To give it a nice gloss, whisk together 1 egg and a tablespoon of milk to make an egg wash, and brush the top crust with it. Bake for 20 minutes at 425 degrees. Reduce the heat to 350 and then bake for another 35 minutes. If your crust is browning too fast, you can cover it with aluminum foil. Your pie is all done once it's bubbling. Make sure to cool completely before serving.